Hey Avalon, thanks for joining me for tea time. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Cassia. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's get straight into it. So tell us, who is Avalon Gomez? Like, introduce us, and you could basically go straight into a little bit more of your background.
Oh, sure. So I'm Avalon Gomez, an entrepreneur, a founder, a mother, and just an overall passionate human. I love to consider myself or call myself multi-hyphenate because I think that best describes me. I wear many hats. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I wear many hats. But with all my roles, I'm passionate
Yeah.
about everyone. So I take pride in each of them.
So, as usual, as you know, people who do a lot of things, everyone wants to know, like, how do you manage it all? How do you do it all? But I will circle back to that because I really want to get into like really like who is Avalon, where she came from, how she started, all of those things, because you do so many things and you're like killing it everywhere. And like your Instagram name has I am Avalon Gomez, your Gmail has I am Avalon Gomez. Like, really tell us what that means, like how you got started.
All right.
Tell us your
So
story.
yes. Um, I'm big on affirmations. So I am a sort of words I use every day. So I knew that my Instagram or anything that has my name needs to start with I am Avalon Gomez because that is who I am. Aside from all the rules or I hate labels. I hate labels. Like if it was up to me, I know people say your bio need to say what you do, how you help people, this and that. But if it was up to me, my bio would just say who I am, right? Because I hate labels. I think to define us is really to limit us. I am Avalon Gomez, and Avalon Gomez could be many things. So how did Avalon Gomez start? I've been in corporate finance. Well, I used to be in corporate finance for about 8 years. I've worked Eastern Credit Union for like 6 years, Repsol for 3, things like that. Um, and I just wasn't fulfilled. So
Mm-hmm.
in these roles, my role was mainly in like finance departments and invoicing, dealing with a lot of customers, and I enjoyed it because I'm a people person. But I always felt as if something was missing. So I started to do um, marketing in CETAL. And because coming out of school, let me just backtrack.
Yes, I want to hear this. Yes, I want to hear this because
Let
I'm
me backtrack.
listening to you telling me all the places that you work, but it's like we want to hear back, like how you
Yeah.
come to be, and this is the important part of the story that I feel so many women, especially young women coming up, could benefit from. So go.
And I think a lot of people don't know this. So this is going to be the first time a lot of people are going to hear this. So this comes like tea time. You have an exclusive here, right?
Okay, I appreciate that.
Right. So in school, I was a business student. I did principle of accounts, principle of business, because I was of the opinion that I'm going to be either a teacher or an accountant. So that was my mindset. And coming straight out of school, I got all 8 O levels. I said I don't want to do A levels. I want to go straight to do um, CAT, which is Certified Accounting Technician, because I'm thinking I want to be an accountant.
Right.
And then when I started the courses, I was like, I don't enjoy this. This is not what I want to do. But my mother is an accountant. So I could see why I thought I wanted to be one also, because I've lived with one all my life. So I
Mm.
stopped the courses like I remember level 2. I was like, this is not for me. And she was like, so what do you want to do? I was like, well, I think I want to do something more with like marketing, planning, strategies. I like creating things. I love creating concepts or things that
Yes.
people could enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the year after leaving secondary school, I was already permanently employed at Eastern Credit Union. So I never really had the chance to, you know how some people have that lap
Gap.
in it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they could really
Where
enjoy life. They could party, they could, you know, I never had that. So only after leaving Eastern, I was like, he was like, well, you have these marketing, you have this marketing skill. What you gonna do with it? I say, well, I think I want to try to throw events. And it was like, what? Like,
yeah, how you arrive at events? Where did that
yeah.
come
I was
from?
like, because it's like I'm a country girl. I was born in Grannyville. A lot of people don't know that. I grew up in Sandy Grande, and I only moved to Aruka to do common entrance, right? And now I live in the West. So I'm a country girl. So I only learn the party life. I don't want, you know, your listeners to laugh, like in 2010, right? Late.
It's
And
okay if they laugh. That's good.
yeah, 2009, 2010, like that, that was it. It was parties. So I wanted to throw parties with all my marketing knowledge. And people was like,
Right.
I was like, because like people don't understand what events. You get to create something that hundreds of people get to enjoy. You get to create that. You get to create the concept, how it will roll out. People come, they enjoy it, and then you just watch people enjoy something you have created. And to me, parties was never like, okay, this name is trending or this song is trending. Let's name the party after that, and people will come. No, I liked creating everything around the name. So if I say, listen, balloons will drop from the sky and then they will pop when it hit the ground and you will get Hennessy out of it, I am making sure that it's happening because that's the concept. And
Right.
for me, concepts are very important. And I know you will understand that, Cassia, because
Mm-hmm.
you're the branding queen. And I
Right.
know
The
concept
concept is important as well as the execution.
execution. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to have a concept to execute.
Yes,
Well,
you need to have a strong concept because, when we think about logo design, like what makes the logo is not the design, but it's the concept. And
yeah,
once the concept is excellently executed, that's how you get like an awesome end product. So for you, it's events, and I could totally relate to that.
yeah. I loved events. I did for so long. And I was the only female. So for me, it was like, look at this woman, like just dominated in like an industry that people think are only for males. Like I was the
Mm-hmm.
only female really throwing events. I had three staple boat rides every year. I had one land event that used to be in Pier 1 every year. And it's like people know, okay, when Boxing Day come, we know where we're going. We're going to this event. And only, let me tell you, about 5 years ago, I said, okay, well, you know, like we outgrow things. And I'm like,
Yes, you have to
what?
think about your next season, like what's next after this. Yeah.
Okay, it was fun while it lasted. It helped a lot with my personal brand. I met people that, you know, that today I could call on for almost anything. So I would never shun it. But I remember a day I sat and I asked myself, so what do you want your legacy to be? Like, do you want your legacy to be that, you know, she had the most amazing parties and she made money from it? And I was like, no, I don't want my legacy to be anything monetary, if that makes sense. I said
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be the difference I made. I just wanted it to be like, when God forbid I pass, when that time comes, I want people to say, well, you know, she changed this. Before her, women thought they could have never existed in the same space, under the same roof, in the same industry. But through her and her work, they saw that it could happen. I don't want it to be, well, you know, she was worth this amount of money or that amount of money, or she made this amount of money. I want it to be the difference that I made. So I just stopped. I didn't even sell the dates or anything, because I said if you're walking away, you're walking away. And I
Mm-hmm.
just literally gave away the dates, walked away, lost a lot, but I walked away. And I started something completely new. I remember I only worked my corporate job after that for about 6 months. And then,
Wow.
yeah, and then I said, no, I think I want to do my own thing. I know how I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to work for myself, not for the money, but for the freedom. Um, because I want to be able to
Yes.
my want. Yeah, I want to be able to, wake up on my own time. Not that I want to wake up whenever. I don't want to know that I have to wake up at 5 a.m. because I have to be somewhere at 8 to clock in, just to go to lunch at 12 to
I
come back.
totally feel you on
One.
that. And
Yeah,
it's a whole mindset shift because as much as we preach it and we say we want that, when we do get it, we feel weird. Because
yeah,
lately I've been going through a period or a season of just ease and flow and rest, and I just not really feeling the hustle. Like I just want to just do that, wake up, create, and it feels in alignment, obviously with accountability, because you don't want to just go on the complete other end of the spectrum and become lazy. But
yeah.
once you have that self-awareness and it's not laziness, but this is actually what freedom is, it feels so good. It really does. It's so fulfilling to make that schedule on your own.
People will
Because to
understand it.
get to that point in the first place, you had to have put in the hours and the work.
Yep. Yes. I remember
Don't come just like that.
when I just started being an entrepreneur, right? I said, okay, I will provide solutions for other female entrepreneurs, that can't source things. So I said, I will do their logos, I will do, their flyers, things like that. So it would make their life much easier. And I
Mhm.
remember there were days and weeks where I wouldn't sleep.
You
Like,
feel like a slave. I will just say
I was
it.
like, oh wait, like I am literally a slave to this process, to them, to my clients, to my
Yeah.
customers. And I was like, this is not how, okay, this is not the freedom that I wanted.
Mhm.
I need to revisit this. And um I just stopped. And people was like, but why did you stop doing logos? And I'm like, because I don't want to anymore. Like it was that was a hobby for me. That was a hobby for me. I just enjoyed it and I saw it as a way to help other female entrepreneurs. I was like,
Yeah.
but no, I can put you all onto somebody who could do it. But as of right now, my peace is priority and I need to do things that aligns with that. And I think as entrepreneurs, we fail to do that.
Yep.
We are so much people pleasers that
Oh
we want
gosh.
to always
This
please
is so
people.
spot on because it comes
Yeah,
in so timely after last episode on mental health. Because this field will erode that if you don't take control of it.
yeah, it will. You have to take control of your entire process and everything you do. Everything you do. So Avalon, I am Avalon. She became
Yes.
the motivator, the impact leader in the woman empowerment space because that's my passion. I am big on like just building community, whether it be online community, it be my actual community where I live. I'm big on community building. And I remember up to 2 years ago, um, I would still try to, have my classes where I could teach persons now how to create their own logos and stuff like that, still just to help them. But Cassia, if I tell you, and I know you would experience it sometimes or would have, um,
Yeah.
people are really unappreciative of
Oh.
true knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They are unappreciative of true knowledge. Um,
Unless they pay a lot of money
and
for it.
unless you pay a lot of money or unless you, the knowledge giver,
Mm.
are um, given the knowledge from another country.
You went
And
there.
yes, I went
I
there
love it. Oh, that is
because it's
some tea. That is some tea.
yes,
Spill
because it's
it.
a problem. It's a problem, and
It
we
is a
don't
problem.
think that it is
Or,
a problem.
or, or, I will take it there as well. You could be from here, but you have to have the accent.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You'll say the same thing the other person said, and they'll just walk in the room and say it with the white man's accent, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Thank you. We love the fluff. Um, and I say we because it's our people. Like we love the fluff. We love the fluff, and I think we miss what's genuine and what's not based on social media. But that's a whole other episode. Yes, that's a
And
whole other thing.
listen, I am here for it. I am glad that you went there.
That's a whole other episode. But it's just the whole process of becoming who I am was a lot of work, and it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time. It deteriorated my mental health at a period of time. That's why your last episode resonated so much with me because I understood, you know, that was
Mm-hmm.
me. And I really had to sit back and think like, okay, yes, I'm of service. That's what I want to be. I always want to be of service because I think that service to man is service to God, right? Um, but I don't want to lose myself in the process. So I had
Yeah.
to cut off a lot of things. I had to cut off a lot of things. And now, and I would say that I remember you had a post, I think was year before, early last year. And that post
Mm-hmm.
has helped me a lot. I saved it and I still read it all the time. Like,
Oh,
how to
wow.
say no. And because I have a problem saying no, I'm the person who will always say yes. And if I have to stay up until 5 a.m. to make sure that I produced what I said yes to, I will. And that post
Hmm.
helped me in cutting that out and saying no. So now I'm
And
okay.
I
People can
like that you touched on that because it is important. Like we have to strike a balance between like what's integrity or knowing that we can't go anymore. It's okay to disappoint people, but I feel sometimes we flaunt integrity so much that you have to stick to your word, you have to stick to your word. But what if you was supposed to say no? And then you said yes when you were supposed to say no. And now you're here killing yourself out because, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person if I don't fulfill this. I think we have to have enough discernment to know when it's okay to say, hey, I'm still going to follow through on this, but I need to sleep tonight. I mean, we're not literally telling the person we need to sleep tonight, but we're telling them, hey, I'll have to get this to you later on.
yeah. And you're telling yourself, hey, like you don't have to feel bad, but get some rest.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk to ourselves, and we need to. We need to talk to ourselves and tell ourselves, what we want or what we need, or correct ourselves sometimes. We always look to people to do that for us.
Yeah, it's
We feel
true.
yeah,
We have to set the boundary and enforce the boundary because we can't expect other people to seek our well being. Because if we are giving it to them, they're going to take it.
exactly.
So we have to be advocates for ourselves as much as we are for others.
Other people, yes.
Yeah, so true.
Slowly running along, but that's how I became the person I am today. Or and I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm much closer than I was.
Right.
Yeah,
I think we all are. And you gave the background and your story, and you actually touched on all of the things I wanted to touch on that came after that question. So I'm just going to outline what the questions were, and it will be like a bit of a recap of what you just shared. So here you all just heard how Avalon got into business and why you do the things that you do, like why you're so multifaceted. Um, what are some of your core beliefs? You shared some of those. And basically, what I really wanted to pull out of you is like, how did you build your name? And basically, you built your name from networking and from capitalizing through the days of, throwing events. And that was a very smart and strategic move. Maybe you didn't know it at the time, but it was because we are a party culture. We're on an island, and that's what we love to do. So you get in where you fit in, as they say, and you make your name there and you take that into what you really want to build for yourself. That is what I heard.
Yes.
And for those who didn't catch it, catch the nugget. That's how you do it. So if you're wondering, well, how to build my name in X, because there's not really a niche in this area and this is lacking in this area, well, see where you can make a name for yourself and then transfer that over into what you really want to build.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, a lot of people think, okay, if they're, especially if they're a business owner, whether it be a product-based business or service-based business, they only focus on building the business. They only focus on building the business. But my notion is, what if we focus on building
The
you,
brand,
person?
the
Yeah, you,
personal brand, you're right.
personal brand. Then, God forbid, if one business fails, you are still a strong brand. You can start another business and people will still follow that. You can
Amen.
have multiple businesses and people will always follow them because people are following you.
Yes, people
People
buy into you. People buy
like
from people. And so,
people.
and you're so right. So often people put all of their resources and all of their blood, sweat, and tears into building this logo, right? Because that's where it starts. Like that's probably why people are so obsessed with just that aspect of brand building. We need to have this best logo. Like this logo is going to do cartwheels for the brand, but the brand building comes after the design, right? But then we attach ourselves so much to the logo, the brand, the name, and then let's say that business is not successful. Now you're starting over from scratch to build something else.
Exactly. And we see it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We see it a lot.
And that's
Remember,
why we keep telling people, show your face, show
oh
your
yeah,
face.
come on,
Come
show
on the
up.
video. I mean, show your face on video.
Yeah, show you. Even if you have to, even if you're not comfortable with going live, like pre-record your video, do it 100 times
Mm-hmm.
and
Because
choose.
you can edit it out.
Yeah, I remember I clients always to say like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm like, well, then you're not ready to make money. You're not ready to really grow yourself and your business. I said because you can't continue to hide behind your products.
Yeah, true.
You can't continue to hide behind the products and the services. And more now, um, we see it where we need to show up for our business and for ourselves.
And to put it really simply, like the word brand, I feel confuses people. You're building a reputation. Your brand is your reputation. It's about what people perceive you to be. So if this business you decide to change, maybe it wasn't a failure because it's not that the business failed. It just wasn't doing what you needed it to do. And you had to pivot and change into something else or start something else. But whatever it is that you would have built, when people know that it's you, you're building a reputation, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's the person behind so and so, and they had really good food or they had really great service, even though that this one time so happened. So I will always get behind anything that they're doing. Doesn't that sound familiar? Because now you are taking all of your hard work from before, that reputation that you've built for service, and you can now take that over into another business because people know, yeah, they are really good at customer service and they really care about their clients or their customers.
Yes, exactly. Spot on.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that really good point.
Spot on. People really need to learn that. And it helps with like your business a lot too. Let's just think about COVID and how so many of us had to pivot or some people had to close down, you know? I mean, those
Mm-hmm.
who were really headstrong like me chose to innovate or pivot, move and not close down. But um if it wasn't for building the brand and not just the business aspect, I would not have been able to do that. And not just the brand, me being a
Mm-hmm.
personal brand, but let's talk about the embassy with my food business, because
True.
we were a bar before COVID.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, we were a sports bar and
Because
food.
I just knew the embassy grill, but because I never visited it, I just didn't know what to expect. But when I did visit, I just thought that is what it was all the time.
Nope, sis, nope. It
Oh,
was
okay.
bar and grill. And in the first 3 4 months of COVID, well, bars were the first to close down. So instead of just, we had the space, a big space in El Socorro. So what I did was, for that first 3 months, we gave like free food to communities for 3 months. So 500 meals every week to like single mothers who kids probably home because they're not getting school feeding. So we did that for 3 months. And then we was like, okay, we need to make a decision on what to do. Are we going to close, or, you know? And I was like, well, no, let's
Mm.
just go straight food and move to somewhere, a little more cost effective. But because people already know the name, we can move to anywhere, because most of our, okay, so now, because we have been in Shogunas, what, 8 months, we get a lot
Yeah.
of Shogunas and South customers. But our customers from El Socorro, from Port of Spain, from Arima, they still visit, whether it's once a week, they still visit. And that's
Mm-hmm.
because the name already has, it already is embedded in people's mind. They know the name, they know what it stands for. They know you come there for good food. They know I will always be smiling there. I will always be chatty chatty. They know
Yeah.
that. So they know what they're coming for.
That is
So
branding, and that's the
yeah,
brand
and that is
experience.
branding. They don't know how they probably don't even really know how the logo looks. And people need to understand that your logo is probably I don't know, it's probably fifth in the line of things that you need to do when you really want to build a name for yourself or for your business. You really
Very
need to.
true. And I like that you got exactly where I was going with that. Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, nobody, I mean, I don't want it to come across that your image is not important. Like, it is important, but they put way too much emphasis and responsibility on the logo. The logo is not going to go out there and tell people about your business. It's not going to go live. It's not going to run up and down the highway and say, come and check out the bar and grill. Like, all of the other things are you, and
Yeah,
how you do things, and how you communicate your brand values, etc., etc. So
yeah,
a really good example is, you have told your community that your community is important to your brand by giving out those meals. Like, that is so amazing and commendable.
yeah. Because you remember when we had the sports bar and grill, I mean, our community are our customers. Your community is your customers. They have put money in your pockets for years. So at a time where they might be in need, right? They wouldn't come out and say it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when you need to step up, even if it will take out of your pocket, because we wasn't making $1 for months.
Such a good point. Such a good point.
Making a dollar
Because
for
sometimes it really doesn't dawn on you that people need things because they're not raising their hand. And when you just offer or you just give,
Mhm.
because sometimes you don't know who to give to, but you have to like fill in the blanks here. But if you
Yeah,
create an opportunity where people can just come and receive something, it makes it so much easier for others, because sometimes people, they don't want to ask, or they're too embarrassed. you know you just always have to make it as easy as possible for people who need to receive help to get it.
I
And
get it.
you
Yeah.
could interpret that in any way that you want, where it's like it could be in this space of COVID and people needing relief. It could be somebody who's going through a situation. It could be women in domestic cases. It could be anything. So just think about that when you're like thinking of like not sure how to help people.
Help. Yeah.
Just
And I
step
mean,
up.
yeah, just step up. If somebody comes or if somebody takes your help and they really don't need it, then still that's God will deal with them. You do your part. I mean, you really do your part, but I still sift through, so I take a lot of help from counselors because I always tell the counselors in areas that they will know their people because that's also their community and they will know who needs. So, aside from giving our community where we live and where our business resided, um, we reached out to counselors in different communities, about 8 communities across Trinidad, and they assisted with finding these persons in need. And because I'm OCD or a big planner, of course, they had to send a list: name, contact number, address, how many kids, things like that, just so that I will have like a record of who got what, and of course for future things.
Right. So this was like naturally went in the direction of my next main thing I wanted to discuss, which is like tell us more about, your women empowerment initiatives. Like why are you so passionate about women when we seem to be our own worst enemy at times, the cattiness, the way we are with our sisters.
Seem to be, girl, we are. We are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are. I agree. We are. And it's something that I have to say kudos and power to you because I would create community in my own way, but to say like I will own women's empowerment the way that you do it, I just don't know how you do it because I can't deal with fake.
Listen, listen. And
It's a mental health for me, girl.
no, it definitely is the mental health for me. And I always tell people like, if I was fake or if I encouraged fakeness, then Empower would have been much bigger than it is today. Um,
Oh my gosh.
but because no, the name of the podcast is Tea Time, right? So
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you.
we talking here, we spilling it all, we being real. And and you see to my stories all the time, Cassia. I remind people
And
that
that's why I resonate with so much of what you're saying.
when you come here, you're going to get me.
Good dish.
I'm not going to speak with an accent because that's not me. You're going to get me. The button is there. You could follow, unfollow, but people need to be authentic and know the difference between saying you're authentic and being authentic. Let's go back. Right. So,
Right.
yeah. So, if I was fake or if I encouraged fakeness, Empower would have been much bigger than it is today. But I can't because even if I don't say something, you will see it on my face. It cannot hide. My facial expressions cannot hide. I am not a hypocrite and I cannot be one. And being a female, when I used to throw events in a male dominated space, right? And also being a female, what that people will watch like, wow, she thinks she has so much power, her events selling out, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will be hated. There will be a lot of people who like you, yes, for different reasons, because they genuinely like you, because they see how they could benefit, things like that. And then you, of course, you will be hated, right? For many reasons, because people like you and because of no reason at all. People will literally hate you just
True.
because they don't know you. They have never met you, so they think that you are unapproachable or just
I've
because
gotten that all the
you.
time from as early as, you could think, especially as somebody who is, the quote unquote red woman, like
Yeah,
it just, you just get it just because. And it's
just
like, I am growing up, I've always been like very reserved, shy, and probably even scared to talk to people because, well, I'm an introvert. I've always been inside, very protective. So I am the type of person, even to today, like I'm quiet when I enter a room because I am reading and feeling out people's vibe. And
yeah.
because I'm quiet, people would say, she's stush. She,
Ah,
she's stush. Or they would say I'm unapproachable, and I was like, but how? I'm just standing here. I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing anything. Because you're quiet, you stush. So what I'm supposed to do? Walk in the room and start to shout?
Just walking around and be like, hey, Cassia over here. Like, no,
You
that's
ever thought that maybe some people just don't know how to engage people and they need someone to walk up to them and have a conversation? Like maybe you're awkward.
no, and it's not even that sometimes. We could, I mean, I feel you. Some people think because I threw parties, then I have to be, an extrovert. And I'm like, no, I'm the most introverted extrovert you'll ever find. Because even in my events, I'm claustrophobic. So I was always in a corner. So there's crowd everywhere, and I'm in a corner behind a rope because I so need to be in my own zone. So anybody at any point in time could come and know where to find me, right?
Yeah.
And if I walk into a room, I myself, I'm quiet. If you ask me a question, I'll answer. But what I'm doing is I'm really feeling out the room. I'm good at reading people, so I'm reading people. I know
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, maybe at lunch, I could go and
Right.
say hi to this person because she looks as, or maybe, or just at the first few hours when you enter a room or first few minutes, you're really just feeling out the
You're
space.
really just feeling out the room and just getting comfortable in
Yeah,
the environment. Because if I'm in a new space, it's it's how to put it, boy. It's a bit jarring. That's the best way I can put it. So you're just there kind of climatized into the space, to the people. It's just a little sense of like awareness. So you just want to get accustomed to the environment before you start to navigate the environment.
yeah. It's
And
not
I think
being,
that's an introvert behavior.
yeah, it's not stush behavior. It's not she feels she better than people behavior. It's not, it's not fake. It's just you being you. If I walk into a room and I'm like, hey, everybody, then I would feel as if I'm being somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. Like I could do that, but I mean, that's not exactly me.
It would feel weird. I would
It
roll
feels
my eyes.
weird.
Like I would say hi everybody, and then I'll remind like, why did you just do that? You know? But
It's like, what the hell was that?
what the hell was that? Like, are you serious? Like, but I really like because of all my struggles with women and like women judging me so much before they actually met me, and just women hating for lack of a better term. I just wanted to change the way that women treat with women. I wanted to change the way that women see women, that women greet women, that women network with other women. I wanted to change the whole notion that, hey, if she's a makeup artist and I'm a makeup artist, then we cannot be friends or we cannot network or we cannot just, coexist under the same roof in the same space. I wanted to change that because it was an issue that I dealt with for years. I wanted to change that.
Mm,
I was always the person that instead of a woman coming to me and be like, hi, how do you do this? Or like, let's do this together, they would try to do it to compete with me.
yeah.
Um, and, and that's because I think they don't know me. I'm not a competitive person. However, I don't back down. And when I see competition, I tend to go in overdrive,
Oh.
overkill, which means there's no way you could beat me. If I really, now I've changed from that and it's just like, whatever. Like, let whoever do whatever. But back in the day, it was like, when I used to throw events, it was like, okay, you're coming to compete, you would apologize by tomorrow
You
because,
petty.
yeah, I was petty because, like, we could coexist. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do this. Don't do this. I'm humble, but I know who I am. And that's why my I am came because I'm very humble, but I know who I am. And that came with knowing yourself and knowing who you are in Christ too. Like, you're not to be stepped over by anybody.
Right.
I really want women to own their space. And Cassia, it didn't come easy because I remember I had to deal with, and it's so funny because I spoke about this in my own podcast last week, right?
Right.
I had to deal with women saying that women empowerment is fake empowerment. There was a year when, like people were just bashing women empowerment, and I stuck through
I
it.
I were one of the people who was saying that because it became trendy. I have no
I
problem with
get
it, but there
into
were a
that.
lot of people who were not genuine.
Yes,
And
that's
that
what I
was
was.
super frustrating because we need it. We need community. But what we don't need is you just using it to capitalize. Of
That
course, you can make money, but don't just exploit the mission.
exactly.
Be
And
genuine.
yeah, and it's like, okay, so Empower launched in 2017, right? 2017. And I remember people wasn't on the women empowerment thing, this is fake, things like that. But then by 2018, I saw like everybody and every corner and every area was having a women empowerment group of all different names, colors. And I'm like, wow. But just last year, this was fake empowerment. I was like, but maybe it's because I'm making it look as if it's making money when it was not. Like, I would throw summits, brunches, whatever, and I would absorb the cost. Even if I charge for a ticket might mainly pay for the event space or something like that. I
Yeah.
would always walk away with a deficit of sometimes $3,000, but it never hurt me because I am doing something that I am passionate about, something that I like, and I have witnessed the relationships that other people has formed from just coming to an Empower event, right? Powerful relationships. So then people started to pop up all over and it became a trend. And I had to remind people that this is not a trend, well, at least not for me. Like I was angry. Like I was like, but why are so much of these mean girls starting these groups? Like, what are they
Mm.
doing?
I'm
They are
glad
the
you
finest
said that
thing.
the way you said it because that is exactly what I was talking about. It's very specific, quote unquote, mean girls who have the money and resources to do these things. We're just capitalizing on it because they can.
Yeah, and what was even more upsetting is here you are building something authentic, something genuine, and brands would not buy into it, but they buy into the fake ones.
Because they have the resources, like I just said,
Yeah,
because usually these people
right.
who did it, they have the resources, meaning the money, and they have the position to just put these things together like that because they're well connected, they know this one, and they just put it together, like I said, because they can.
They can, exactly. And it was very, I remember it had nights I cried, I was frustrated. I was like, listen, I am done. Because I don't need to do this. This is taking from me. It is not, this is taking from me. I don't have to do this. I don't do this for me. And I was like, I'm done. And I felt as if somebody just hit me a tap and was like, what you mean you done? You didn't choose this?
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, I was so upset because I was like, how could you be telling me, like you're not seeing what's going on? People need to, Trinidadians go too much with the hype. We
Oh,
go with
mm-hmm.
whoever is popular
Ha-
and whatever the hype is.
you
And,
taking the words out of my mouth. We
and it's,
love hype and
yeah,
popularity, not substance.
popularity. We don't love the substance. And I always tell people, I was popular when I threw events, but I gave up popularity for purpose. And I would not ever trade my purpose or my passion again for being popular.
That is a nugget.
I would never. I would never. And that was a very frustrating time when it was so popular, but I stuck through it. And I think that COVID came, you know, with its frustrations, but also with its minor blessings, because if you take a look at most of the pages now that were launched when empowerment was a trend, um, they're not so active, or some of them not active at all.
Yep.
from since 2018 or 2019. And that's because one, they run out of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's like, oh my gosh, what will we do now? We're not going to make any money over this. So
Yeah.
what are we going to do now? And I always used to remind people, because a lot of people will always ask me, how do you deal with it? Like, how do you, and I always say time. Time will always expose everything. Like, you just have to stay. If this is your course, this is your lane, you stay in your lane.
So true.
You
So
stay there.
true. And
Yeah.
like circling back to your point of like people coming to compete. I've had people who have come to work with me as clients and then they befriend me and let's collaborate. And again, I'm a very open, down, community over competition. But then you start to see how they make these snide remarks or they say things that not adding up. Like that's not what we discussed, but in public, this is what you're saying. And then before you know it, you find that they're taking what you had in conversation and turning that into content. And when I say taking what you said in conversation, I don't mean like, oh yeah, that's real good content. um I'm gonna put that in a post. Yeah, you put what you said in a post, but you don't take what I said and act like you said this, you got that
Correct.
from me. So if you get this from me, then give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Just
wrong with with
mention.
with with just giving the credit. Like you could post the same post that you posted, but you could have just given the credit. So anyway, like
Yeah.
this is where I talk about the mental health part of women's empowerment, is because I believe in sisterhood, but it comes back to bite me in the ass. So I have
Yeah.
just learned to have to be very, very careful, unfortunately. And it's not a
It's,
good thing to have to come on the podcast and say about us as
yeah.
women, but these are the facts.
It's real. And I deal with a lot of women, and I could tell you that. And it had times I had to remind them, like, listen, um, my peace is priority. So at any point in time, if I feel as if you are messing with that I just cannot be in your space or cannot allow you to be in my space anymore. Because some women are very, very, very toxic. I just think that some women don't know how to interact with other women. They don't know how to treat other women. Women just have this competitive spirit. Like, okay, if she did this or she could do this, then I could do it. And I'm going to try to do it better instead of, hey, what could I do that will kind of align with what she is doing so that we could, come together and make an even bigger impact. No woman thinks that way, or very few women, I should say. I have seen it, especially on social media, where um, women will literally stop speaking with you or stop interacting with you because they think you're getting too much engagement, or they think you're growing too much, or so, and they see it as competition. When you just
Mm-hmm.
in your little zone, in your lane, you're not even thinking about that. And they
Yeah,
would literally stop liking your posts, unfollow, or sometimes they
it's
will still
sad.
follow but liking your post or anything, just because in their mind they are competing with you.
It's
In
true.
in your mind, you are not even aware because you know we're thinking about that. But in their mind, you are competition.
It's true.
They
And
are
I've
just
gotten
about
the
you.
off vibes where it started to like affect me. And it's like, if I feel like I have to be too careful around what I have to say around you for fear that you're going to either take it the wrong way or feel like I'm copying you or some nonsense, I have to be so careful because I might mash your corns, then something isn't right here and I will distance myself.
Yeah,
And I've
really.
had that happen in the past and it's unfortunate, it's sad. But we should be free to be ourselves. I shouldn't have to worry, oh my gosh, if I go and do this, this person might feel upset, or they might think this, or they might think I'm encroaching on their space or their thing, when really that's gaslighting yourself because I was already doing this before. So we can coexist.
Exactly, we can.
You do your thing your way, I do my thing my way. Like, and when it really starts to feel like that, then that's not good vibes. That's not healthy.
Yeah, it's not. And people tend to do that a lot, Cassia. They tend
Yes,
to do that a lot. And I love my woman. Like, we have no idea how powerful we are. Like, we have no
we
idea
need to
how
do
powerful
better.
we are. But we need to do better with our sisters. We need to do better. We need to set aside our egos and just do better. Because together we could do so much.
Mm-hmm.
Together we could do so much. I have been burnt by women so much. You would think that I would literally wake up and say, listen, I'm done with this woman empowerment thing. I'm done. Because I've been burnt that much. I've had my ideas taken, stolen, copied, duplicated, whatever you want to call it. I've had my words twisted, you know, and here I am still trying with our women, still creating a safe space, still, being helpful. And it's like, it's not easy, but I mean, here we
Now,
are.
I want to leave persons with a bit of a shift in perspective and even a little bit of an exercise, even for your own self, right? And that is not all the time where you notice a dip in interaction from somebody means that they're hating on you. Plenty times it
Yeah.
is, but sometimes it's okay to do this. And that is, as humans, we're human, we get triggered. And that means that there's something in us that we need to work on. And in order to work on it, we have to unplug from certain spaces. So that might mean you mute the person for a while. And because you mute them while you are working on yourself, right? They both have to go together, not just muting them and you go on with your life. Because that's hating, because you're not muting for the purpose of blocking that out to work on yourself. So you might mute people or unfollow people in real life and whatnot and whatnot. But that's because something they're doing is triggering something in you and you need to work on that. And there's nothing wrong with recognizing and having enough self-awareness to know that, hey, something I write here, I need to go and work on me.
Yep. And nothing is wrong with that. But how many people really think that way? We
Not
always,
many.
especially women, we always think, no, the problem have to be her. It's definitely not
It's
me.
her and I
But
need to unfollow this nonsense.
it's not done. Yeah, but we have toxic traits. We all
Yes.
have
And
toxic
that's why I
traits.
had to bring it up.
Yeah, we all have toxic traits. And we just need to deal with it. Fix you. You can't fix anybody else, but you can fix yourself, definitely.
Yeah, because if somebody's page is making you feel triggered, and triggered could mean it's making you feel upset, you find yourself hating, saying, "Well,
Okay,
why that happening for her? She don't deserve that. She's a fraud."
yeah.
What's another one?
Oh my God, Cassia.
What's
Yes.
that?
Why you you just dropping pins on in certain things. Like you pinning things.
Oh yeah. What was the other one I was thinking of?
People have
Or the other triggers are it's making you feel depressed, or maybe they said something and it feels like they're attacking you when really there's something more there. Sometimes it is them, but sometimes it's just something in you that needs to shift.
to shift, to fix, and it doesn't matter who you are or what you have or own. It could still be something within you.
Mm,
Because like there are a lot of people that love watching other people profiles and think, oh, he or she is putting on a facade and things like that. And you, how do you know that? Do you even know the person? Have you ever interacted with
exactly.
the person? You don't know. So for you to say that, and a lot of people don't see it because a lot of people will praise someone that is saying that, but
Mhm.
that's why I might always be the devil's advocate, because me now I'll be like, well, how do you know that person is putting on a facade? Maybe you just hating, maybe you have issues. And even if you
You just
maybe
have issues.
yeah, even if you think somebody is putting on a facade, why do you need to take to your social media and include a
Ah,
post?
right. And this is where I wanted to add to what you're saying. We're human. We all have got feelings, and we would also have informed experiences where, okay, I have this gut feeling. And when I met this person, something here not adding up, you know. But keep that to yourself. Keep that
Exactly.
to yourself. You don't need
That,
to go on social media and start a campaign against somebody. That's not important.
because every person is not important, and
Why are you
something they
spending so much time on them?
not on your level, then why are you giving them this attention? Why are you giving them the time of day that they need a whole caption or a whole 4-story post? Like, people, we really need to do better. Like, we really need to do better. I mean, you have your personal friends for that off of social media. You have yourself. Talk to yourself, talk to your wall, your mirror, write it in your
Hmm.
journal. But I mean, on social media, but again, I could be wrong. It could be me, but I just think it doesn't make sense.
I don't
It,
think you need to go to social media. It's okay to have hunches. It's okay to voice it to someone, but you shouldn't be always voicing it to someone. You should have other things to talk about with that individual. So if you find that you only meet this person to just talk about these hunches about people online, something isn't right there.
something isn't.
And I will share this with you, right? I think this is very relevant to where we are at here. So let's talk about how we met.
Yeah,
And I'm going to share this with the audience. So there was a time we're going to big up Mishak, right?
big up Mishak, the
Right.
plug.
Yes. And I bunked him up in Starbucks and I was telling him again what I do. Because, this branding word is a mysterious word. And he's like, well, when I think branding, I always think about Avalon. And I think I heard of you before, but it wasn't really top of mind.
Yeah.
So it's like, who Avalon? For the most part, I was very confused. Who is Avalon? I don't know who is Avalon. I think Avalon, and then he bring up your profile. I was like, oh, okay, well, I never heard of her before, never saw her or anything, but okay. And then I went on with my life. And so I knew of you. You came on my radar since then.
Yeah.
And then sometime you came in my inbox and you followed me, and I was like, oh, she followed me. Okay. Because
I,
every time certain people who you might look up to or you respect or who's very prominent, they follow you, you're kind of like, oh, I wonder what was interesting enough about my profile for them to follow. So I was just like, okay, she followed. And I'm so accustomed to people just following people and they don't talk. So
they just follow.
they just follow. So it was so refreshing when you came and you introduced yourself. And again, being cautious of women, I was like, that's it? She just wanted to introduce herself. Like, oh, okay. This is so different. This is so refreshing. And I've been wanting to tell you that for a while now. And I said, no, I have to tell you this in person. But when I met you, clean forget. And I was like, okay, there's a good thing to include in the podcast episode. So I must say, I respect you for that because people don't do that. People don't
Yeah.
just walk up to people and introduce themselves very often and just like have no like agenda per se. And that was really refreshing. So it's like,
And
yeah, I like the follow, but it's nice to really use social media for what it is for. And that actually irks me a lot, where we just have all these empty follows and no connections with people because they're not talking and or they're watching your
yeah,
stories and they're not engaging. And it's like, why are you here?
yeah. Why are you here? Like, why are you here? And I don't normally like follow. I would not message. So let me be honest there. So everybody I follow, I would not send them a DM introducing myself. If
Well, yeah,
some,
I don't think
yeah.
that's a lot. I don't think people have time to always do that.
However, I'm very strategic with who I follow, why I follow. If I follow somebody, if I follow you and you're not like an acquaintance I would have known from the past, or we did business together sometime before, or your family, or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be because you add something, not just to me, but to your community, or the community, the world.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, you're
And
doing something,
yeah, you're doing
something.
something good.
Yeah,
You're a
you're doing your
woman
thing.
who, yeah, I love to see women doing their thing. Like, I love that. I will cheer you on. Like, I am here. I am here to comment on your post, share your posting, do whatever I need to do to show you, like, hey, girl, this is me being happy for you, doing your thing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I never had the conversation with Mishak about it, but you have been on my radar. So, I remember seeing, when you do, because remember I told you I did branding before, right?
Yeah.
As a solution to entrepreneurs. So you would see all these branding, this pop up branding, that
Right.
branding, whatnot, because people use the word branding loosely.
Loosely, yeah.
People who just do logos, people who just do a print on a t-shirt call themselves a branding guru because they believe that is branding.
Exactly.
So I saw it and I saw you and I was like, but she's really the only person, like, locally, who is doing branding, like, full stop. Like, she is. And I was like, why isn't more people, like, engaged with her? And I was like, no, I want to stop do branding, so, and just focus on the personal branding aspect. I said, so
Yeah.
I'm going to connect with her. I was like, just because we need to be in the same space and we need to be in the same community.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Thank
so I go
you.
in a message. I was like, I go into message. What's the most that could happen? She could ignore or she could respond. Either way, I did what I wanted to do. And that was the connection there. That was the connect. I might I say, Cassia, that you are a breath of fresh air.
I was saying, no, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, you are a breath of fresh air.
And the same thing goes for you. Like, basically, that is what I was saying. Is a breath of fresh air when you see people do things like message, because it's not typical. A lot of people just follow, and they just are like watching, or sometimes they just don't know how to really introduce themselves. So you got a lot of respect from me for just reaching out.
Thank you. So, ladies, that is Cassia just gave you all another nugget. Like, reach out. If you really want to connect with somebody, message them. Reach out with a genuine heart, of course.
Most
Don't
definitely.
yeah, don't reach out to them expecting something, because I remember, okay, um, Cassia didn't follow me back the same day, but I didn't follow her because she didn't follow me back, because I
Mm-hmm.
followed her because I wanted to. And there are a lot of people who follow for follow.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
follow you expecting that you would immediately follow them. And when you
People
don't,
do that, those icky tactics.
that don't work.
So, Avalon, I did not get to ask you what's in your mug. What are you sipping today? Because the tea was hot today.
Definitely. Today I'm sipping on some lemon tea bag. And of course, I'm sipping it in my favorite cup, my cup from my brand, Empower TT. It says, just a girl who enjoys minding her business.
Ooh, love that. So, you have the her mugs.
Yeah.
So, this is a great time to let you all know that Avalon has been so generous to donate her mugs to this podcast. So we will be giving away a few, and we will be choosing randomly who gets a mug. And in order to get a mug, you have to screenshot this episode and share it to your Instagram stories. Bonus points if you leave a review on this podcast.
Bonus points.
Bonus points. All right. I love her mugs. You guys could go check out Avalon at I am Avalon Gomez on Instagram, and you would see some of the mugs. It's always making a debut in her stories, and you could list for us all of your pages where they could go support you, because we know you are multifaceted and you have many different initiatives pages for people to follow. And guys, we will be sure to link all of them in the show notes. So Avalon, give us all of your details, give us the seamless plug. What's popping with you, what people need to know about right now?
All right, yes. Thank you so much, Cassia. So, guys, like Cassia said, y'all can find me at I am Avalon Gomez on Instagram. Also, follow my brands, empower_TT on Instagram, The Embassy Grill on Instagram. Um, I also recently launched a podcast. It's about telling the stories of women, the authentic stories, and creating,
Mm.
like genuine community that's making her story the podcast. Once you follow Empower Her, you get all the podcast updates. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time here today and just sharing all about who Avalon is and all of your initiatives. It has been really good, and I loved all of the tea. Like I'm here for
I
all of
love
it.
being
You
here.
went there.
The tea was
Weren't
hot.
playing it safe. We weren't playing it safe.
No, we needed to go there. The people need to hear
The
the,
real tea.
the real tea.